crafty friends, welcome! This is Lana with Lana Design for Spellbinders. Today we are going to be playing with Spellbinders releases for May of 2025, and these are Spellbinders Clubs. I will be playing with the Foil Club of the Month, Better Press Club of the Month, and the beautiful 3D embossing folder of the month. I can't wait to show you what I'm going to create, so please stick around for some new and hopefully impressive cards. I am starting off with the Glimmer Plate of the month, and this is what comes in this month club. It is this cool plate with pencils, and I am also going to use the Better Press of the month to emboss my card panel. I have already pre-cut my card base and turned on my foiling machine to get warmed up. First, I'm going to put some of that black foil on my pink cardstock and get it ready for foiling. And while I'm waiting for my foil plate to warm up, I am going to emboss my card panel using the Better Press plate of the month for this month. Now, I couldn't be more happier by the way these pencils look. The only thing that I actually regret not doing is using a yellow cardstock for this, so I could get my pencils to be like real pencils, yellow, but that is okay. And look how cool this panel looks. I think that dry embossing works very well as the foil or, of course, Better Press plate. I am going to add a little bit more of that removable adhesive and attach it temporarily to my card panel that I previously trimmed to 5x5 or 10x5 and scored at 5 inches. Now, I realized that you actually don't have to do this. Why is it that I did this? I am not quite sure, but you are more than welcome to glue the panel fully to a card base. There's really no reason for this extra step. But I am using this awesome cute little die here to die cut all the way through my card panel and my card base. So that die really cut through both my panel and the base. There was no really issue of any kind, and I just realized that the panel actually tore off there a little bit, so it's going to be a bit hard to attach it, but I'll give it a good try and of course match this as much as possible. Now, again, as I mentioned, learn from my mistake. If you decide to do this technique, there's really no reason for you to use a temporary adhesive. Just simply glue your panel directly on your card base and you're going to be just fine. And that is definitely going to save you a lot of time. Next, I am moving real quick to some die cutting. I'm going to die cut a couple of these pencils using the coordinating die from the set. For die cutting, I'm using a mini die cutting machine from Spellbinders called Platinum Scout, and this little tiny machine is so compact and perfect for all your quick die cutting projects. And now I'm gonna assemble this card. I'm gonna use a few pages of this post-it notes here that I have, and I'm going to simply draw an image of a notepad. I'm gonna write notes and add some lines to resemble a notepad. Of course, you can do whatever you want with this. You can stamp an image. You can just add a simple sentiment. It doesn't have to be a notepad, but I thought that creating a notepad like this made sense with all those pencils. Next, I am simply going to attach that little notepad, so to speak, and glue my pencils directly on the card panel. All that it's left is a personal message, and mine says, "Every day is a blank page. Make it count." And with this, I finish card number 1. Here comes the card number 2. This card includes Better Press of the month for the month of May, of course. And I am using Spellbinders cotton paper, which is meant for Better Press. Now, since this plate is a little bit smaller than my 5x7 card, what I am going to do is make sure that this plate is centered the best that I can, and I can leave the bottom portion for a sentiment later on. Now, since my plate is positioned perfectly, the first thing I'm going to do is use some washi tape to secure that plate directly to the card base, and then I'm going to position the plate and the card on the Better Press system, add some removable adhesive to the back of my card panel, and put the lid on it. This should ensure that everything is left where it's supposed to, and that tape is actually not strong enough to hold that plate that is attached to that strong magnetic panel. And now I'm using a Better Press black ink to ink up my plate here, and this ink is absolutely perfect. This is one of my favorite colors or favorite inks to use with Better Press. When you're doing this, please look on each and every side. Make sure that your design is completely saturated with ink. Next, I'm going to put it through the die cutting machine, and my design is done. Next, I decided to use gouache from Altenew and mix it into this beautiful shade of red. And this is the color that I am going to use to color some letters, not all of them. Now, why is it that I actually decided to go with gouache? Well, the reason I went with gouache is because of the nature of gouache. Gouache is a very opaque medium, and I was certain that gouache was going to cover everything and not be see-through. That is just the nature of gouache, as I mentioned. It's perfect for those cover-ups. I do not recommend using alcohol markers for this, because your alcohol markers are going to seep into the fibers of the paper and you are going to create one big mess. So please do not use alcohol markers. Use something that can actually stay on the surface, something like inks or gouache, as I mentioned, as I'm using it here, are perfect mediums to color this kind of paper. So my panel is done and it looks so cool. I love that there's just specific letters that reveal a message, and I'm not sure if you're able to tell what message that is. Now, regardless of that hidden message, I still need a sentiment to complete my card. There are two sentiments that come in this set. One is "you complete my alphabet," and the other one says "from A to Z, you inspire me." I think they're absolutely perfect for my project. All I did is ink up that stamp, put it through the die cutting machine, and now I am going to die cut these sentiments. What is so cool about this plate is that it comes with a coordinating dies that cut both of those sentiment strips at the same time. I think this is brilliant, and it's going to save you a lot of time. And my sentiments turned out so perfect. All that I'm doing here is attaching my sentiment to the bottom of my card with some foam adhesive, and my card is completed. Simple, clean, and beautiful. Okay, so here it is, our third and final card of the day. I will also be using this die from the Better Press Club of the month, and of course I am going to be using this fabulous 3D embossing folder of the month club. Now I am making this quite unusual card. I wanted my card to be horizontal. It is 7 by 4 inches and it opens horizontally, if that makes sense. Now, this card was created with one big piece of paper. I used watercolor paper because that is the only one that came in a fairly large size. The size of that card stock is 12 by 18 inches, and the reason I went with that card stock is because I wanted my card base to be in one piece. So I trimmed my card stock to 14 inches by 4 inches, and I scored it at 7 inches, correct. Now you don't have to do this. I just wanted my base to be in one big piece, but you can always connect and glue two pieces of paper together if this is the size of a card that you wish to make. Now, all that I'm going to do next is simply emboss this cardstock, and I'll be back in 1 second, your time. And this is precisely the reason why I love those 3D embossing folders. They never disappoint. The design of them is so beautiful and so detailed that will leave you breathless every time. And to make this project even more noticeable and even more beautiful, I'm going to add a little bit of that gold paste. This is Rub and Buff, and this is just going to accentuate that beautiful design. Now, of course, you don't have to do this. You can do this with inks perhaps. I just wanted to add more interest and some shine to this panel and give it that antique look. And now this is where things started to get very interesting. I am again using this awesome die from the Better Press Club of the month. I have some beads, gold pen, and spindle needle. For all of you who don't know what this is one fabulous little tool that will help you attach beads to your thread super fast and without any effort. All that I'm doing is simply attaching the thread to this needle. It's very easy. Once that's in, I'm going to put that needle into my beads several times, and that is going to allow the beads to get attached to this needle. And then all you get to do is push the beads right onto your thread and you are done. And I'm going to attach this later on to my bookmark that I am going to now create out of vellum and some plain white cardstock. Again, I am using the die from the Better Press Club of the month, and I am simply going to trim a couple of these strips. Next, I'm going to use this specialty gold marker to add titles of the books, and I'm also going to hand write the sentiment. I am going to add a little bit of removable adhesives. My vellum does not move, and simply write, "Your story is just getting good." This is going to become my bookmark. And the reason what makes this marker so special is that this is just going to simply dry on vellum and it's not going to smear. I'm just going to let it dry for a few moments and we're going to be assembling this card in no time. Putting this card together is going to be very easy, simple, and quick. I am going to use a crocodile to poke a hole right there in the middle of the flower, just like so. And I'm going to do the same with my sentiment. Next, I'm going to use a small gold eyelet and put it through my sentiment as well as the card panel and securely attach it with a crocodile. And my sentiment is perfectly added to the card panel. Next, I'm going to add my little tassel. I'm simply going to put it through the hole and attach it in the back with some washi tape. That is going to definitely keep that tassel in there and it's not going to go anywhere. I am also going to add foam adhesive to the back of my card panel and then attach everything to the card base. And the card is done. And here we are at the end of this video, and let us recap real quick. This first card here that I'm holding is made with the Better Press plate of the month. I love the simplicity of this card, and I am really curious to know if you can see the hidden message in this card. If you do, please let me know in the comments below. Next, I made this such a playful card with this cute little post-it, and think of all the fun designs that you can come up with. I find this to be a very playful and different card. Just adorable. And here is the last, the most sophisticated card of the bunch, made with a 3D embossing folder of the month. And I just can't get over that little tassel. I think it's fabulous. I love all the details. I love the gold. I love how customizable this card is. And I am curious to know, what do you think of this design? Do you like it? Do you think it's too involved? Please let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you like the content of this video and if you have any other ideas of what is it that you would like to see more from me. Now, big thanks goes to Spellbinders for sending me all these cool stuff to play with so I can create more fun stuff for you. And of course, thank you for being here, for supporting my channel. because without you, I wouldn't be here. I will be releasing a separate video on wax seals. Stay tuned for that. That's coming up very soon. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm always happy to interact with my viewers. Thank you again for being here, and see you soon with something new. Bye-bye.